What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, we're going to talk about Libra. This is Facebook's new cryptocurrency project, touting to be a global cryptocurrency. So Libra coin. We're going to talk about that. See if this guy here, he's going to ruin the party, the crypto party, or not. Also, too, guys, real quick before we dive into this video, we have specials still running. You can get this moneymaker buy signal or join us in the room. Again, you can see how well this thing captures these moves. This is on a 15-minute Bitcoin chart, and you can apply this to most any crypto. Uptrending crypto is better. Again, smaller time frame stuff, but I encourage you guys to check that out at tradelikeagenius.com. All right, so lots to cover in this. Let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys, so Facebook had, there were some rumblings of them coming up with a cryptocurrency project. The official announcement was Libra, and Libra is basically what they're touting as a global cryptocurrency. So this was the website libra.org, and it talks about how it's going to be mobile and stable, fast, global, scalable, secure, and all that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the white paper real quick. We're not going to get too technical, just so you guys kind of understand some key components of what's going on here and how this is going to affect the crypto space. They have a Libra Reserve, the Libra blockchain, which a little bit of a misnomer there, the Libra Association, etc. So we're going to dive into that here. So what we're going to do is take a look at the blockchain white paper. So essentially, they talk about it being a decentralized programmable database designed to support a low volatility cryptocurrency that will have the ability to serve as an efficient medium of exchange for billions of people around the world. So essentially, this is a stable coin. The Libra protocol allows a set of replicas referred to as validators from different authorities to jointly maintain a database of programmable resources. So, this is going to be centralized out of the gate. Going to be different from like what you have with Bitcoin or Litecoin. This is a centralized start to this thing. Also talks about user-defined smart contracts and a new programming language called Move. So you'll probably hear a lot about Move in the incoming months. User-defined smart contracts. Okay, so that's going to put projects like EOS and obviously Ethereum and other smart contract platforms on notice. You're dealing with a very, very large corporation, deep pockets. So it'll be interesting to see if they can conquer some of the challenges that a distributed computing platform has presented with the current projects. Core mechanisms enable the creation of a unique governance mechanism that builds on the stability and reputation of existing institutions in the early days, but transitions to a fully open system over time. So basically, they're talking about starting off centralized with centralized authority with these validators, and then trying to transition to a more decentralized open system over time. These are the founding members of Libra. So these are the guys that are going to be running the validators. As you can see, very corporate. So, again, I think this is kind of goes against the ethos of Bitcoin, as it were. This is what looks to be a very big corporate backing of a stable coin. So it goes on to say, ecosystem will offer a new global currency, the Libra coin, backed with a basket of bank deposits and treasuries from high-quality central banks. So again, stable coin. Over time, membership eligibility will shift to become a completely open and based on the members' holdings of Libra. So, and a roadmap toward the shift. For the shift toward a permissionless system. So it's, really that sounds like proof of work, which the more you hold, the more voting power you have on governance of the system and confirming the transactions that take place. Scrolling down, Libra protocol does not link accounts to a real-world identity. Now, the Libra wallet, which isn't specifically talked about in this white paper, but the Libra wallet will require KYC, know your customer, right? So that's where you have to be verified as a customer, and you have to submit documents that verify where you live and things like that, just like going to a bank or some of the legitimate regulated exchanges, crypto exchanges. So that part of it you will. So it'll be interesting to see, even though the protocol doesn't link accounts to a real-world identity, the actual Libra coin wallet that's currently out there will. Obviously, they're looking to trade this on exchanges. It'll be interesting to see if you wait for Libra, the Libra coin to get on exchanges, and then you can accumulate it on an exchange. But for right now, even though this says that it doesn't link an account to a real world identity, if you want to get into Libra coin, get the wallet right off the bat, you are going to be identifying yourself doing so. So that's an interesting statement there, considering the initial startup on this. So we'll have to see how that plays out. There's probably going to be a way at some point that you'd be able to get a Libra coin, let's say, without going through the KYC process, but it wouldn't be directly through the Libra wallet. Okay, moving down to farther down in the white paper, the ledger history, there's no concept of a block of transactions in the ledger history. So, the way they have this set up, it's not really a blockchain. They keep calling it a blockchain, but it's not set up like the Bitcoin blockchain. So I think the proper terminology would be distributed ledger technology, DLT, right? You hear about that. And so that's why they're taking basically a database and a version of a database, and that's what gets updated. But as far as the actual chain of blocks, that's not how this is structured. So calling it a blockchain is actually a misnomer. The initial version of the Libra protocol, only a limited subset of moves functionality is available to users. This approach allows the move language and tool chain to mature. The approach also defers scalability challenges in a transaction execution and data storage that are inherent to a general purpose smart contract platform. Notice it says this approach also defers scalability challenges. So this is a work in progress, guys. They haven't figured out what Ethereum's problems are, and this is a solution to that. So as far as this being an Ethereum killer or an EOS killer, they haven't really figured anything out as of yet that I can see that would say that that's the case. So they're still kind of in the same boat with everybody else. Okay, moving down, metered. In order to manage demand for compute capacity, Libra protocol charges transaction fees dominated in Libra coins. This follows the gas model popularized by Ethereum. Okay, so again, they're taking cues from existing distributed ledger platforms. This here, obviously, just like ETH as far as gas charges. So in other words, when you send or do a transaction with Libra, they're going to take a fee in Libra out of that. Okay, this gets into some of the more technical things. We're not going to get too deep into that. This here I thought was interesting. We anticipate that as the system is used, eventually storage growth associated with accounts may become a problem. Just as gas encourages responsible use of computation resources, we expect that a similar rent-based mechanism may be needed for storage. We are assessing a wide range of approaches for a rent-based mechanism that best suits the ecosystem. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Problems that are existing with this type of distributed platform, they still haven't found an ultimate solution for it. So again, this is a work in progress. Okay. Now, if all this stuff was already taken care of and it was ready to go, I would say, yeah, then you know what? These other projects like Ethereum and EOS and other smart contract platforms, they're going to be put on notice. As of right now, it just looks like they're dealing with the same problems everybody else is. Here's another note I picked up on. Each validator in the Libra protocol maintains a full membership view of the system and connects directly to any validator it needs to communicate with. We expect this approach to scale up to a few hundred validators before requiring partial membership views, sophisticated failure detectors, or communication relays. Again, I think this is scaling issues that need to be figured out. Again, this speaks to this being a work in progress. So beyond a few hundred validators, and that might be enough to get the initial system going. We'll talk about the capacity here in a second, but you're going to have to grow beyond 100 validators for a global project like this. So again, we need to see some progress on this front. Moving on to the Libra core implementation, the security of the Libra blockchain rests on correct implementation of validators, move programs, and the move virtual machine. Addressing these issues in Libra core is a work in progress. So again, this is the white paper, so it's a rough draft of what's going on. But again, this is a trust thing, right? Think about Litecoin or Bitcoin and Litecoin and things of that nature as a trustless environment where you have the blocks and the consensus. And because of the way that the proof of work is designed, you can get away with a decentralized, permissionless system, right? There's no central governance like there is starting here. So this is why this is not a Bitcoin killer, okay? This is vastly different. This is a global stablecoin project, is what this is telling us, with a centralized governance that they hope to at some point turn into a more open, decentralized system. So there's a lot of ifs so far in this. As far as performance goes, we anticipate the initial launch of Libra protocol to support 1,000 payment transactions per second with a 10-second finality time between a transaction being submitted and committed. That seems doable considering they have 100 validators to start with, and I think that that's probably realistic. Moving down, bandwidth. The validators require a 40 megabits internet connection, modern signature schemes to support over 1,000 verifications per second, over a commodity CPU. That just means like off-the-shelf, higher-end CPU. And the servers would need 16 terabytes of SSD storage. SSD is basically no moving parts, right? That'll provide the quickest read-write times. So just some technical, shows you kind of the performance requirements of validators. Libra coin, the reserve is the key mechanism for achieving value preservation. The reserve is managed by the Libra Association, okay, so more centralized governance. Users do not directly interface with the reserve. Instead, to support higher efficiency, there are authorized resellers who are the only entities authorized by the association to transact large amounts of fiat and Libra in and out of the reserve, integrate into exchanges, etc. Users do not need to worry about the association introducing inflation into the system or debasing the currency. For new coins to be minted, there must be a commensurate fiat deposit in the reserve. So they're saying they can't just print money like central banks do, but they're going to use central bank printed money to be the reserve or the backing for the value of this. Kind of funny, right? It'd be kind of cool if they use something like gold or even Bitcoin maybe. But, they're looking for something that isn't real volatile, and I get that. Bitcoin's volatility makes anything regarding stable backing tough. At some point, you will be able to do that with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's got to finish its S-curve of adoption and then finally get to that flat line where it's met its valuation and it's been distributed to a large number of participants and creates stability that way. Moving down, under what's next for Libra, talks about we anticipate using move only for system-defined modules as opposed to letting users define their own modules. So they're going to keep it locked. We intend for future versions of the Libra protocol to provide open access to the move language. So they're going to keep it locked down. I can see the approach there. They want to make sure the bugs are out of the system before they really turn this thing over and let people start working on it. So this is going to be, it's going to have the Libra coin as an asset, but think of it like you'll be able to build other assets on top of this on the smart platform. Okay, so you could have other tokens representing other assets. One of the top goals of the Libra Association is to migrate the Libra ecosystem to a permissionless system. So that would be ideal. Again, another if. They have to show us kind of how that's going to play out and how they plan to do that. So basically, that's it for the white paper. Again, guys, I think as far as this thing being like a crypto killer, obviously there's some projects out there that this could be taking aim at. And if Facebook, being as deep pockets that they have, could be setting the bar for how you roll out a project like this. As far as, because they'll be able to pay like the top end, high end developers, right, to work on this, and a lot of them. As far as killing, being a Bitcoin killer or anything like that, this is completely different. This is not anywhere near a Bitcoin. As far as cross-border payments, this would be taking aim at things like XRP. As far as dealing with payments and things like that, that's more in the wheelhouse of Visa and MasterCard and things like that. Although if you notice who the founding members are, can't beat them, join them, right? So I think this is interesting that these guys are diving in on this crypto project. But again, it's not a blockchain, okay? It's not, they're calling it, filing it under crypto, but definitely not a blockchain. So that's a misnomer. But I think ultimately, guys, having a stable coin that gets widely used, I think is a need. I think it will help people for borderless type payments. Bitcoin is great for the larger stuff, or if you want to hedge inflation, and we'll get into that on another video. If you want to hedge inflation, and protect value of your savings, Bitcoin's the way to go. This would just be simply for that lower cost payment where you're just trying to get payments done. And I think that's going to play into kind of how Bitcoin is progressing right now is a store of value. And like I said, at the top of the S-curve for Bitcoin, everything has a growth S-curve. That will be where Bitcoin can become a backing and a source of stable payment. In the meantime, I think having a stable payment option is nothing wrong with that, but this will take aim at some of the existing alt projects that are out there. So we'll need to see that. This isn't going to come out till about 2020, so I don't think anything is going to change immediately, but this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Big money behind this. And again, other stable coins are probably going to be put on notice. Other smart contract platforms are going to be put on notice. So that's my take on it, guys. Not going to kill any projects yet, but there are some that will probably need to be on the defensive. As far as Bitcoin, Litecoin, those type of crypto blockchains, I don't really think this is in the same ballpark as that, and it will be a non-factor as far as those valuations go. All right, so I hope that helps. Libra coin, part of the native asset of the Libra protocol, Facebook's new crypto project. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please hit like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.